From now until the month of Ramadan, every Friday we'll be having a very special feature on the road to Ramadan, preparing ourselves for the arrival of the month of Ramadan. And in today's segment, we'll be talking about mind control. It's very important that we control our thoughts and we're able to focus on what we are doing. Sometimes in life, we are all guilty of allowing our minds to wander. We are all guilty of allowing our minds to fall into the habit of daydreaming while we are tending to our religious duties and not being present in the moment. Even though our bodies are there, our minds are very, very far away. So one of the things we must learn to perfect as we head into this very holy period leading up to the month of Ramadan is to control your thoughts. Ensure that you are able to focus on what you are doing. Focus is indeed the most important thing. Because if you lose focus, the outcome can become very, very disastrous. Think about a person who's driving a car. He's driving along the highway at top speed, but then all of a sudden, he takes his eyes off the road for a split second. And in doing so, he loses focus on the task ahead. The outcome can become very, very disastrous. So the month of Ramadan that is very quickly approaching, roughly about 6 weeks left now, it is a time for worship, it is a time for prayer, and it is a time that we indulge ourselves in various different acts of ibadah, various different acts of worship. If you're unable to focus while you go through these acts of worship, then your acts of worship will be hollow. Even though you would have the shell of those acts of worship, even though you may have the shell of fasting, even though you may have the shell of prayer and recitation of Quran, and so on, and charity, and so on and so forth, the inside would be very, very hollow. I always remember there was the story of this one man who opened his business in a city. Eventually the business grew to allow for the opening of 4 branches. So every day, every evening after closing up shop, he would head down to the local mosque to perform his evening prayer in congregation. Now the evening prayer is 4 units of prayer. So every evening he would go, he would stand behind the imam and he would perform his evening prayer in congregation. One evening, after the congregation, this person stood up and he was so convinced that the imam made a mistake. He said, "Imam, you did not perform 4 units, you only performed 3 units, you made a mistake." No one else in the congregation came forward with that complaint beside this individual. So everyone in the congregation asked him, "Well, how do you know? Where is your proof? You are saying that the imam made a mistake. He was supposed to perform 4 units, he only performed 3 units. How do you know?" So he said, "Well, every evening when I come to join the congregation, while the prayer is going on, I do the accounts of all of my 4 branches in each unit. Unit number 1, I will do the accounts of the first branch. Unit number 2, second branch, third branch, and fourth branch as we go through the prayer on an evening." He said, "Today I was only able to complete the accounts of 3 branches, and Imam came to an end of the prayer, hence the reason why I know that he made a mistake." And think about it. When you're standing in prayer and you're thinking about your business, your mind should be focused on the Almighty. And that is why we have to perfect that particular concept. Mind control. Control your mind. You are what you allow your brain to consume. And one scholar, he so rightly mentioned that you have to be a parent to your brain. Now think about that for a moment. If a parent has a child, the parent is highly protective of that child. If the parent sees that child walking towards something which is dangerous, the parent will ensure that that child is pulled away from that danger. The child is walking towards fire, the parent will very quickly run and pull the child away from the fire. The parent is also very watchful over what the child consumes, because the parent knows what the child consumes can either be beneficial for the child or harmful. So in a similar manner, you have to be a parent to your mind, a parent to your brain. You have to be highly protective of your brain, of your mind. And if you see your thoughts heading towards something which is dangerous, ensure to pull your thoughts back from venturing down that path. Be very watchful also over what your mind consumes, because that can either be beneficial for you or it can be very, very harmful for you as you continue on with the journey of your life. Allow your mind to consume things that are beneficial. Allow your mind to consume things that will foster growth. Allow your mind to consume things that will bring about spirituality in your life. Do not allow your mind to consume negativity. Do not allow your mind to consume evil, because the fruits of those things will eventually become apparent upon you. So as we head into this holy month coming up, train your mind to focus on what you are doing, especially with regards to your acts of worship. Don't just go through the motions. Focus on what you are doing. And how do you build focus? Well, I want to share with you a few very quick points. Number one, before carrying out an act of worship, try to distress a little bit, eliminate distractions, and clear your mind. That is the first thing. Don't think about anything materialistic. Now you are about to offer an act of worship. Clear your mind, distress, eliminate all of the distractions, and focus on what you are about to do. Practice mindfulness. Sometimes, it will all go well for you if you are also well rested. If you are very tired and you go to approach your worship, then too you can lose your concentration. So focus on the moment and ensure that whatever you are doing, you are there within the moment. Don't allow it to be an experience of only the body and not the mind. It must be an experience of the body, the mind, and the soul. And that is where your efforts need to be. That is where the training process needs to happen. You need to train your body, your mind, and your soul to be present every single time you perform an act of worship. And if you can do that, every act of worship will be a source of such spiritual elevation that will go beyond your wildest expectation. And like I mentioned before, with the month of Ramadan just around the corner, it is an avenue that we should definitely think about. Don't just go through the motions, and start practicing that from now. Start focusing when you perform your prayer. Start focusing when you recite your Quran. Start focusing, when you do any other act of worship, so that when the month of Ramadan comes around, you will be in a good position to acquire the maximum benefit from the month of Ramadan. Always remember that this month, the month that we are currently in, the month of Rajab, which is the 7th month on the Islamic calendar, this is a time when you have to plant the seeds. Coming up next is the 8th month. Within a couple of weeks is the 8th month, the month of Sha'ban. In that month, you water those seeds. And when do you reap? You reap in the month of Ramadan. You cannot possibly wait for the month of Ramadan to come, and then you start planting the seeds, and then you start watering those seeds, hoping that those seeds would grow in time for you to reap also in the month of Ramadan. It doesn't work like that. And one of the most important aspects is to prepare your mind. Be mentally ready. Train your mind to be alive and to be there with you when you perform your acts of worship. Let it be a fulfilling experience. Don't allow your worships to be like empty eggshells. Work on your performance, work on your focus, your dedication, your concentration, and you would see when another month of Ramadan comes around, if you are so blessed to witness another month of Ramadan, you will see how it will benefit you in this life as well as in the life of the hereafter. May Allah bless us in this period leading up to the month of Ramadan. May He keep us all safe, and may He enable us to witness another beautiful month of Ramadan as we continue on with the journey of our